Mental health has had an effect on 20% of the world's children and adolescents. About half of the mental health disorders begin before the age of 14. In this documentary, I'm going to be interviewing a few people that face different mental health conditions, and I will be finding out how these people cope with those conditions.
Hey, I'm Nick Burns, and today we're going to be talking about anxiety.
Hi, my name's Dave. I'm 19, I'm from North London, and I'm going to be talking about depression, anxiety, and various other mental health conditions.
How would you describe this condition to someone who's never heard of it?
Anxiety is something that you generally can't control, you just manage it. You need to be aware of it to be able to address the feeling by taking your mind off it. Breathing, just breathing is really good. Or some people have things that they do to take their minds off it. I have like Tic Tacs or mints. Just the taste of mint just takes my mind off of just being anxious, and calms me down. They're the things that I would use.
When did you realise you had depression?
It was always there as like a kind of thing in the background, but I sort of noticed it around when I started my first college, when I turned 16. I just sort of noticed that I wasn't really experiencing things the same way as everyone else was, and that's when I started looking into it.
Alright.
I first realised I had anxiety when I was 26 years old. And the first time that I think I remember having anxiety was maybe 13 years old when I was doing exams. I moved from school to school quite a lot, had to make friends again and again and again, which made me really anxious. So I think that might have been the reasons why.
Have you ever received help, and if so, what kind of help? Was it helpful?
So I went to the doctors. I mean, I spoke to my parents, and they're quite old-fashioned. They didn't really understand. So then I went to the doctors and immediately got put on medication and referred to the Children and Adolescent Mental Health Services (CAMHS), and got counselling and more medication. And it wasn't helpful in any way. It kind of had a really bad effect on me. And it seemed as if they wanted me to prove that I was really doing badly, and that made me want to get worse just to be taken seriously by them. So I mean, I did sort of receive support in the ways of counselling, but it was more counterproductive than anything.
I see. Has this condition had an effect on your social life?
Yes, dramatically. It makes me anxious to go out to see friends and people if I haven't got my mints on me. So that's something I have to kind of do on a regular basis.
Okay. I think people get confused between being really sad and being depressed. Would you say that there's a fine line between the two?
Yeah, there's a massive distinction between the two. A lot of people will get stressed out from school or friends or social life or whatever, and that's fair enough. People will get depressed every so often, but depression is a long-term thing that is always there. It's always in the background, it's always looming, and it affects so much more than just feeling depressed. It affects energy and mood and just your entire perception of the world around you.
Okay. How severe would you say your condition is?
My condition is bad if I don't sleep, if I drink too much coffee, if I don't keep fit enough, and if I'm not eating the right foods, too much caffeine, too much sugar, and if I'm drinking water, it's also really good to just drink water. Just keep me hydrated all the time.
Alright, well thank you for letting me talk to you.
No worries.
About 13 out of every 100 children and adolescents aged 9 to 17 are experiencing some kind of anxiety disorder. Anxiety disorders can also be associated with many physical illnesses. An estimated 20% of teens will experience depression before reaching adulthood, and 80% of teens will never receive the help needed to deal with their depression.